Yeah. This is why we say keep your hands and arms and other body parts inside the ride at all times.
Look at my willy, Mum.
This video is sponsored by Maurice and I trying to figure out podcasts, which looks like it was filmed using a potato and me rubbing my body because I don't know what to do with my nervous energy hands.
Welcome to the podcast.
Is that the first Aren't you supposed to say like action or something? Like give me
No,
some
it's just like the
warning.
fact that the whole thing goes. I don't want to be on camera. Hi guys, welcome, gentle viewers, to something that is very new. And Jodie doesn't like. Well, sorry, Maurice. Everybody, give your hands for Maurice. What the hell was that? Just in the boat. Give your hands for Maurice. Everyone just cuts off their hands and send them in the post to P.O. Box 405.
No, it'll be more like, oh, she's on it. Click off.
No, they will not. We thought, YOLO. You know, you've got to strike while the iron's hot. So, we've started the podcast Tangents and Waffles.
We tangent and waffle about
A lot. Everything. So,
everything.
we thought that we would start this podcast now as a Christmas gift to you. And a Christmas punishment to us. Because
it's taken us. What is the have we? It must have. We were meant to be done by now.
Yeah.
It's taken us this long to set up the set, which still looks lovely.
wow, it looks like a bomb hit it with
I don't know how long I'm tolerating Medusa.
Medusa. We've named this plant Medusa because it keeps attacking Jodie and it looks like snakes. I've brushed past Elizabeth 5,500 times.
Elizabeth, because Elizabeth is Beth's alter ego in the Tanya thing. You have to rename the plant.
Right, I'll call it Vanessa.
Is that the one you bought when we were doing that Ariana parody? And then I'm trying to film and you just disappeared for God knows how long and you were upstairs in your bedroom because you bought a tree. Is that the same tree?
Oh no, milk.
Your memory is awful.
I know. So Maurice hasn't been on camera a lot. She doesn't like being on camera, and I forced her. No, we've decided that we're going to do this together now. And today we're going to discuss because this is a perfect reason why. Because as you can tell by the title, we used to work at a theme park. Not at the same time, did we?
No, I think technically I helped you get the job, but I wasn't working there by that point. Here's the tea. Sort of.
Yeah, we
Unofficially.
we worked at the same time. Well, no, we didn't. Sorry, we didn't work at the same time, did we?
No.
We were just like, you were there, I was there.
Yeah, there was a gap in between, but I was still like socialising with
Yeah.
a lot of the staff.
There was so much that happened at the job that instead of me just waffling on about it on my own, I thought that we could talk about it together and do this together as a team. Because everyone says, oh, you should have a mic anyway. So I was like, okay, just give the people what they want.
I don't mind the mic because ironically, because of Thought Park, I can use the mics because I did the speeches on the,
Telecom things.
You know, everyone knows that, please keep your hands inside the vehicle.
In case
Like,
they
that
rip
was
off.
me, and then I was in control room.
Yeah.
So
you were
I'm
very good.
comfortable, on the mic. It's that thing I don't like.
Oh, the phone. Oh,
The
I was like,
camera.
what? Anyway, this is a massive disclaimer. Now, as we have to do for every bloody video, this is not about the company, Thought Park, or Merlin Entertainment Group. This is about our experiences when we worked there and how...
When I was there, it wasn't even Merlin's.
Was it not?
No, it was Madame Tussauds.
Madame Tussauds.
But they, in my opinion, they are... Sorry. They are a really good company to
They
work
are
for,
incredible.
But they everywhere has things that is out of their control.
Yeah, exactly.
And this is what we're going to be talking about.
So that's what we're talking about. So it's not actually about the company itself.
No, the company's awesome. The managers are awesome.
They're fabulous.
Like, I get rid of that thing.
I wanted to put it on the table.
But
this video is sponsored by Tut by Claire's.
This video is sponsored
Claire's Accessories
by
Tut.
Tangents and Waffles. Yeah. I'm getting rid of the tut.
But I want to wear my glasses.
But don't, because then I can see myself in your reflection there.
Okay,
and
with
it's bad enough that I know it's there.
terrible Christmas Tut tree, you can wear it. I mean, tinsel is something that... Tinsel is...
don't like
tinsel. I'm sorry. This might ruffle some feathers and ruffle your tinsel, but tinsel is disgusting.
Have tinsel.
It is the epitome of Hessian.
You're in your
It is
Hessian.
Hessian.
Hang on, is this going out before the Hessian
Yes.
story?
We have the Hessian story to talk about when me and Maurice stayed in a hotel and
So embarrassing.
I literally... you'll hear about it, but I threw the Hessian
Can't
sheets
take
outside
you-
the...
Ironically, I found that more embarrassing than the fact that the next day you spent the entire day in your pants and paint.
Yeah. Well, you know me. Pants and paint. That should be
You
some
did look
good...
really good, actually.
That's actually a really good podcast name. Pants and Paints. Hi guys, welcome back to our podcast where we talk about pants and paint. Anyway, we tangent and waffled once again very well. So today we're going to discuss our job at Thorpe Park. Now, I worked at Thorpe Park for like quite a few years. And it was, honestly, if you were looking for a job in Surrey, out of tears, out of lockdown, it is the best starting job you can ever have.
I loved it.
It is its
loved it.
own world. It is literally a world.
It's like its own little community,
Yeah.
and everyone supports each other. And the different there's some like joking rivalry between different departments, but it's all like jest and banter.
It is
It's lovely. I love it.
incredible. And the thing is, with time, literally, they would be like, "Do you want to go home early?" You'd be like, "No."
And they'd be like, okay, and then find somebody else who's like,
because
standing
you
at the back
literally
picking their
didn't
nose.
want
You can just go home.
I thought that was a read because I literally was picking my nose and thinking, "How dare you?"
really?
No,
I can't see 'cause you're behind the microphone.
I'm like, "Hi guys." Literally 12 hours would go past. I wanted to stay forever. It was amazing. And I used to work in entertainments and admissions, so entertainments was only like seasonal. So when the kids are off school, that's when they had entertainments. But I wasn't even in the like performing ends team. I was in the like boring ends team where I was like helping people into the arena and then watching the show and that. But there was this one time, okay. Oh. I still think about it to this day.
I know what you're gonna say.
So I don't know if you've ever heard of the drink Rockstar. Well. Well,
People need to explain that you are a completely different person from when you're not on caffeine to when you're on caffeine, and then like 20 seconds after you've come off of it, it's like
so my
like
caffeine
three different
tolerance
people.
is 20 minutes. Done.
Yeah.
Right? Caffeine. Ah! Oh. Have you seen that Stewie from Family Guy when he's running around the house because he's just had a like Coke? He has it and he's literally like, ah! Oh. That is literally me on caffeine to the point where, so this whole thing was like, who needs eggs this Easter? Because it was like extreme into like an amazing stunt show with like motocross and like jumps
that
and
the
stuff.
cage?
Yeah, like, and I went there. And it was sponsored by Rockstar, and Dirty Sanchez were there as well. Oh my gosh. So me and this girl, no idea of her name, but we...
Well, you never knew you start your co-members' names.
No,
No,
you
there were
just
so
like-
many
yeah,
of
I
them,
was
and
just
everyone
like-
swapped name badges anyway.
They were
I
like-
spent a month as like Talinda or something.
Linda.
I can't remember what it was.
That's what it said on her Christmas card. To Linda.
Fine, it was Linda.
Yeah, you were like, okay, her name's
the,
Tilinda.
The funniest one is there was a guy that worked there with it. He was Welsh and he was called Davith, which is spelled Dafydd.
Daphne.
So nobody could pronounce it. So he got rid of the last bit. So it was just Daf, which in Welsh is
Daff.
pronounced V. So it says Dav
Dav.
to him,
okay.
but everyone called him Daff.
Yeah,
So,
and
so
Daff.
it was like, for God's sake. So I spent about another month being Daff
Yeah.
after that. Because I didn't care.
I'm very daft.
I was in the control room. No one saw me.
Yeah, we're like,
I was in the box in the corner where you could hear
Oh.
my voice and nothing else, like I like doing on here. But
Yeah,
no, not.
but now I've forced you into a different department called
So I hide
screen.
in the corner of the
Yeah.
screen like a goblin.
like a troll behind the bush. You're like this. You're like, I don't know where the
Elf on the shelf.
Yeah.
Goblin in the corner.
Elf on the shelf. It's like goblin in the corner. Oh no, it'd have been like goblet G, goblin in the gnome in the. Oh, Anyway, sorry, that was terrible. I'm caffeine.
You need time to prepare for jokes like
Yeah.
that. You can't.
I can't just wing it out the back of my mind. Like I'm like, oh, there you go, pull it forward. Anyway, so the
waffling.
Yeah, we've off. This whole thing was sponsored by Rockstar, and they had cans of it going through. And I didn't know what Rockstar was. I thought it was just like, it's just like a drink in a can. It is banned in some states of America.
But you were like 16, 17.
Yeah,
you
I was
were
like
really
16.
young.
Yeah, I had 2 cans of this Rockstar with this girl on my break within 15 minutes.
2?
Yeah, 2. Because we just thought they were just juice. We didn't know what they were like. And they had like taurine. It's like, it's basically...
Is this video? Is that story? The video?
Yeah.
Now it makes more sense.
So we had this drink. Anyway, it's like banned in some states of America. It is like Red Bull on steroids.
That's a good way to put it. I've never had one.
I remember sitting outside the office and being like, with this girl, like,
vibrating.
and then we walked out into the theme park, and it was like, me and my friend Helen called this feeling impending doom. So when you hit the caffeine gone, you get this feeling of impending doom swoop over you, and you look around like, oh my God. And all this anxiety just comes into your mind, and you just, anyway.
And that was just from the...
We were in a theme park dealing with a stunt show. I was like,
sensory
oh my God.
overload.
I was like, I need to go home. I need to touch everything in the... Anyway, our manager at the time was like, you're not having any more of that. He was like, you get rid of that. You're not having any more.
Do I know your manager?
Yeah, probably. No, he was like, you're not having any more of this. And I was like, okay. But by that time, it was too late. The impending doom had come. But anyway, before this, I had to let people into the arena. And because I had all this random energy and the worst haircut in the world,
it was bad.
It was really bad. I literally looked like
what
an
were
emo.
you thinking?
Yeah. I was like, I'm going through stages. I want to cover my face.
I've still got those photos from Christmas.
I danced like, hi guys, welcome in. You go up the stairs. There's a video of me on YouTube. We'll put the link below of it.
If we can find it.
If you can find it. But the link, if it's not, it will just say, sorry, bananas. I don't know.
Which, by the way, all I keep staring at is that banana. And it's
all I keep
we need to get rid of it.
Is Talinda.
That's his name.
Talinda. That's what happened. That's what happened at Christmas. Everyone was like, this is a toast. Talinda. And everyone went, that's her name. Talinda. And everyone goes, you're right, Talinda.
But it ended up mine. Yeah.
But I remember coming home that night, standing in my parents' bedroom and being like, I have to leave work. I was like, I have to, because I was so overly...
How long had you been there by that point?
Not long. It was like my first, because it was Easter.
Because my first 2 weeks, I just came back and I was just like...
Yeah.
Because it's so...
energized.
Yeah.
It's like, it is exhausting. Like, it physically is.
Once you get used to it and you settle in, it's like copal and it just becomes normal. But the first few weeks is
you're like sensory overload.
Buzzing, and then you come home and it's just like...
You know, like that whistle in an ear after you've been to a gig?
Yeah.
That's what it feels like.
Yeah.
But it's so good. Admissions, I'll get onto that. Ugh. But anyway, you have more stories. I remember my memory of you there is one in the 3D freak show when you were letting people in and you had like a skeleton face paint. And the second time was when we came to see you on Tidal Wave.
Oh, my baby. I missed that ride.
You were very good at Tidal Wave. You were mean on Tidal Wave.
I can operate that ride with my feet.
You were in rides, weren't you?
I was in rides, and then I did Control, which was part of rides at the time. I think it's part of security now, but it's changed. But oh god, I miss that place so much. But it's quite funny, the impending doom that you had with that rock star. Picture this. Picture being in Control. It's one of the busiest days of the year. So you've got about 20,000 people in the park. And I worked in
God.
rides, so I know what ride everybody is on. Like, they're all my co-workers, and some of these people I'm still friends with now.
Yeah.
And then you get the phone call from an exterior line, and it's basically, I think her name was Tammy or something like that. And oh god! So I got this phone call,
Tammy.
and so it was like, control room, Jodie speaking, and or Maurice speaking, whatever.
Maurice.
Or to Linda, whichever I was
To
that
Linda,
day.
hello. Is it to
And she was
Linda?
like, hi, yeah, we've just had a bomb threat. They said it's going to go off in 10 minutes on Colossus. And I'm like, and you have
That's
like...
a code blue, isn't it?
Yes,
it's a code
I think
blue.
it was a code blue. So, but they didn't say that. They were just like, oh, we've had it. So you have to go through like the stages. Like you've got this... You have so much
manual,
training.
yeah.
You have so much training for control. It's unreal. Anyway, so I'm like, okay, when did they place the call? Blah blah blah. And she's like, 8 minutes ago. So I was like, oh,
You've got 2 minutes until the bomb goes off.
2 minutes to evacuate 20,000 people. Bear in mind, Colossus takes at least a minute and a half to do a circuit. There is zero chance.
You can't do it.
It can't do it. So literally, I mean, it came down to the managers, and they were like, it doesn't sound genuine.
It was an external line.
Yeah, it's come through from the call center that deals with all of the Madame Tussauds at the time. But yeah, it was
She took 8
terrifying.
minutes
I mean,
to
it was
push the phone
complete.
lines.
It was a complete hoax.
Yeah,
there
of
was,
course,
There was,
yeah.
it was just somebody that had been thrown out, and they were trying to like
Scare, like shot down the park. They were like,
oh, if we can't get away with pushing through all the lines and upsetting everybody and get away with it, then nobody's going to have any fun. So they tried to get the park shut down because of that, and we weren't having any of it. And it was all fine, but for that. For that initial thing, it was like I knew who was operating that ride. They were one of my like really good mates at the time, and it was like I just had to sit there and just be like, yes, it's a hoax. It's a hoax. It's a hoax. It's
the cameras, and you're
the
like...
cameras. But you think where the control room was compared to...
Yeah, where it is. Because the control room's right near the dome.
It's in the
isn't
dome.
it?
It's in the middle of the dome, yeah. So
Thorpe Park's on an island, isn't it? Like, people don't understand this. They're like, oh... And isn't it
it's an old
sinking?
quarry. It's an old quarry.
It's sinking, isn't it? I
hope not.
Everyone was like, yeah, it's the Thorpe Park's sinking. I was like...
I don't think so. I think just...
Everyone used to be like, yeah, global warming. Like that good old thing called global warming.
But if you think about it, all the water rides pump out into the lake. So it does make sense.
Yeah. Where do they get the water from, though?
Depends on the ride. Because there was a law passed. So if the ride's built before a certain time, it can use water from the lake.
Ugh.
And if it's passed after that,
fish.
it has to use chlorinated, tap
Clear
water.
water.
Yeah, tidal wave has to use chlorinated
Yeah, because
water.
that's beautiful. The water in there is...
It's painted, that's why.
Oh.
I had to get in there and scrub the bottom, and your feet come out like stained blue.
Oh, no.
It's like, it takes a month to
It's
scrub.
like algae. Like...
No, it's not algae, it's the paint that washes off because of the
my gosh.
chlorine. It
It's just like...
takes the paint off. So as soon as you walk on it, it's
just like, oh.
we'll glue to this.
And your feet just like permanent coloured socks.
And you just have the maintenance guys going, we did offer you waders. And you'll be like...
Thanks. James.
When you've got your shorts tucked.
I just remember walking around with like loads of lanyards because it made me feel cool. The more keys you had, the better you were. And I was like,
I had a radio, so I didn't.
Yeah,
need
well,
lanyards.
if you have a radio, then you're like top of the
I was
list.
awful on the radio.
Oh, me too. I was like, Ents 4 to Ents 1 over.
No, I was
Channel 4, please.
sat there, and there's this call going on. They're radioing for a Rides 26, and Rides 26 is completely ignoring their radio. So control's going nuts. Rides 26 on the radio, blah 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 blah. And I'm sitting there thinking, who's Rides 26 there? And then I realised Rides 26 is a controller who's out of control on a ride, which is me.
Oh,
So I'm like,
oh shit. Yeah. Hello. Good morning. Good morning, Janet. This is Talinda speaking.
tidal wave getting the ump at Rides 26 without realising it's me.
Oh, you're like, what's going on? Oh, it's me. I always get annoyed. I'm like, whose shoe is that? Oh, it's mine. Like, yeah. Whose car is parked there? Oh, yeah, it's mine. Oh, sorry.
But yeah, it was...
I used to work in admissions as well, which, let me tell you,
I
was the
never
most
understood
frustrating.
with admissions. I understand they have to like queue up for a long period of time, but they haven't even got into the park yet, and they're in a mood.
well, So they would get annoyed because the queue was so long. I was like, you did come at opening time. Like, you should have come earlier and got in the queue earlier.
If queues bother you, don't
Yeah,
go to
like,
the theme
don't
park.
come to Thorpe Park. Because it's quite a small park. Like, it's not like a massive park like Alton Towers. It's not like that.
Well, no,
Anyway.
it can't be. It's on that tiny little
Yeah,
island. That's why we can only have 20,000 in there.
There is one time. So we used to get in for like 9 something or like 8:45 and start at 9. Anyway.
Yeah, you got a lion.
Sometimes, like, I'd be there for an hour and then get sent home because there was no one else in the queue during the week. There was a time when this customer had been queuing, right? So we used to get these bog off vouchers, which are like club card or like crisp packets.
Everybody in America is not going to know what bog off
Buy
means.
one, get one free. Okay? So literally they would come in with an like not even washed out crisp packet and shove it underneath the thing. Like, you know, like
You're
the little like...
salty.
Yeah, I was like, wow, great. Now my hands smell of What's-Its. Like, now I have to deal with all this stuff. And like, the What's-It, like, come on. Cut it out of the packet and wash it. Or it would come on the back of a cereal box. And they didn't cut the cereal box up. They would literally just bring the cereal box and flatten it and shove it through the thing. I was like, I don't want to deal with this. This isn't something... I was like, well, thanks, great. Got a massive Cocoa Pops thing here. Yeah, like wrapping it through. And we had like these filing things and we had to file them in a box and put them in. Anyway, this woman came. So buy one, get one free. The small print says, one adult, and if one paying adult...
By the way, it's not that small.
No, it's like, when I say small, it's probably
smaller
like...
than the rest of it, but it's not
Yeah.
like you need a magnifying glass to read it. It's clear.
It's on the front of the ticket.
Yeah.
Like, anyway, this woman...
Let's call her Beatrix. Don't put that...
This woman, she came in with her friend, and 2 kids, okay? It clearly states on the ticket, when one adult pays, another one goes free.
So the 2 adults would have to pay, and, and the children would go in free.
Right.
Or they can do,
Yeah.
like, pay for the 2 children.
But
No.
you have to have a full paying adult in order to use this thing. So
it has to be that
2
way
of the
round.
adults and then the kids
Yeah.
go free. No, this woman was not having any of it. She stormed and slomped up to this like cashier desk.
And
she was already
you can't
angry.
even do that. Like, the tills wouldn't accept it.
You
any other
can't.
way.
I scanned it through. I said, okay, so at the time it was like £33 for an adult. And I was like, okay, that's £66 then, please. And she was like...
It went up a whole £1 since I left.
Oh, yeah. She
It's like 50 now.
She literally went like this. No, it's not. I was like...
Yeah, because you just work it. What do you know?
Yeah, I was like... And she was like, yes, it is. And she was like, no, it's not. I was like, well, you've given me 2 vouchers. And she's like, no, the kids pay for the tickets, the adults go free. Then she proceeded to tell me that she was a lawyer and she knows this stuff. Well, as a lawyer, you clearly didn't read the small print then, did you? She wouldn't have any of it from me.
Yeah.
And she decided she was like, I need to speak to your manager. Now, okay, like, she's just...
Part of the disclaimer, the managers at Thorpe Park were amazing, because if
Yeah.
there's any incidences...
They would just take over. Like,
they would take over, but there was such a sense of, like, community. Like, you never thought, like, your manager was going to, like, throw you under the bus.
They always have your back. Like,
They always had your back.
They always
like,
have your back.
As long as you're in the right, which
Yeah.
you
I
were,
was like... Anyway.
They had your back. They're not, like...
So in admissions, you were in the kiosks, and the manager's office is in annual passes, and it's, like, a good... Let's say it's a good, like... 3 to 4 minute walk away. Like, by the time they get the call from by the time they get the call, by the time they leave the office, come round annual passes and walk all the way to the
it's not that,
kiosks.
because your call has to go via control.
Yeah, so we have to call all the way around. Like,
exactly.
but it takes a manager a while to get through there, because they're not just dealing with you, they're dealing with other people anyway.
And that's if they're even on the phone. If they're on the radio, they could be literally anywhere.
This woman stood in front of me, looking at me, like, I was like, okay, I'll get a manager. And literally, we just stood there for a good 15 minutes. The manager comes in, she takes over, and she was very good. And she was like, no, this is what it says on the ticket. Like, this woman proceeded to keep going. I'm a lawyer, I know these things. I was like, but what you are is a dumbass. Yeah.
Yeah, she's probably one of those people that phone you up and been like, oh, that accident you had this year. And you're like, I haven't had an accident this year. Oh,
Yeah.
it must have been last year there in your car. I don't drive. Oh, wind them up. Start singing. It's hilarious. Just waste their time.
She'd be like, la,
just
la, la.
trolls.
She'd be like, Merry Christmas. Or just go, hello?
Speak to them as Tanya.
Yeah.
Next
Hello,
time you get
eh?
that, be like, oh, no, you got it wrong. It must be my flatmate. And then go,
Let me go again. Let me go right in front of me. Hello, this is Tanya. Yes, had a terrible crash. Gotta go boom. Anyway, the manager dealt with her. Oh, and then she proceeded to be like, well, because I've been waiting for so long, I want compensation.
Yeah.
And we had to
things
give
that
her
people
we had to
complain
give her
about is
ride
unreal.
vouchers, like so she could get on the fast track because she'd been waiting so long. I nearly went. Okay, have a map for free.
I actually knew this was before I worked there, so this is like back in the 90s. I actually knew a member of staff that when a customer got in their face, they pushed them in the trough of the ride, the water ride. And the managers came up and be like, what happened? And they're like, oh my God, I'm going to get in so much trouble. And it was literally like, well, she got in my face and blah, 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 blah. And they were like, oh, fair enough. And like, because the customer was being threatening and she just got her away. It just so happened that there was like a 4-foot water drop directly behind. The ride's not there anymore.
No.
But it was just pushed her in.
Push her in. You're done.
But
Honestly.
some of the customer complaints, like, you know, the year before I started, there was a fire.
Yeah, that was really bad, wasn't it? It was all in the news everywhere.
Oh yeah, it was huge. They formed like essentially a human safety net and were herding people out of the park. And they were getting complaints then. Like, you can't throw me out. I haven't been on that ride.
Well, you can go on that ride if you want to burn.
That's nice. I've got the keys. It's not working.
Yeah.
We're going.
You know,
but
it's like a big
seriously.
game of ring. What's it called? Bulldog. Is it? No. Red Rover.
It was Red Rover or Bulldog, depending on which school you went to.
Red Rover.
You ain't going over that because it's on fire. Like one whole ride and a part of another ride burnt down.
Yeah, it was bad, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was huge. I know the guy who was operating.
Oh, I would have
when it
pooped my
burnt down.
pants.
Yeah.
I can't
Bless
deal
him.
with two rock stars. Let alone
Well, he
a
handled
fire.
all of that. I mean, everybody that like he got off the ride, technically, you know, he's a hero.
Yeah.
He handled it so well.
Yeah, I can't do that stuff. I'd be
You
dreadful.
know. And bear in mind, these people are like minimum wage, you know, hyped up on Rockstar or minimum sleep or whatever. And, you know, but yeah.
God, it gives me like anxiety. I'm already boiling from it. Like,
We'll just be grateful you weren't there
Yeah,
when
I
the woman
know.
had her ankle removed or the guy who had his ear removed.
ear?
Yeah, this was like back in the 80s.
What happened?
It was on the water rapids ride. And
Oh
you know where it goes
my
through the tunnel?
gosh.
He was like leaning out the tunnel, and as he went in, yeah. This is why we say keep your hands and arms and other body parts inside the ride at all times.
Look at my willy, mum.
I had people climb out of the boat into the water, and I'm like, right, shut down the ride. And then you've got everybody complaining, like, the ride stopped,
Like
the ride
this.
stopped. Like, they've been waiting in the queue for 45 minutes, and now they've got to wait even longer.
Yeah, 'cause some-
And I'm like, yes, it's because of him.
Some idiot decided that he wanted to go swimming at 3 p.m.
It's like a foot deep.
Where was this? Which ride was this?
The rapids.
Oh, I
It
love
keeps
the rapids.
changing names.
Do you know what? That is one place in the park that gives me like
You're comfortable there.
yeah, and my absolute favourite ride, which was Loggers Leap.
So ironically, the two that aren't haunted,
Yes. Yeah, they're haunted, but well,
they're
yeah,
all haunted.
yeah. There was.
Well, it used to be.
Wasn't it Mary or something in X No Way Out?
It was Fred, I believe, in No
And then
Way Out.
Mary's in the park. Yeah, like
There was a
everyone's-
woman that was in the cinema, apparently.
4D Pirates 4D
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Well, it's not pirates anymore.
No, what is it? Minions.
I don't know. It was like some water thing, and then it became
I think it's Minions 4D now.
is it Minions. It was Angry Birds at one point.
Yeah, it was Angry Birds. That's when I worked there. So, our part of Ent's team was up at the top of it. The
top of
offices round the top of 4D.
I didn't even. Oh yeah, of course, where the projectors are and
It
everything.
was mouldy.
Did you see? Well, of course it is. You got water going all through.
There was a room which we didn't go in because I remember walking in this room and I have never seen water carpet for the walls, grey, green, brown, blue, everything on the walls. I walked in the room and went...
that's because I wasn't in charge of that area.
Honestly,
it wouldn't have looked like that when
honestly, I was like... It had like a fridge. It was like a staff room.
You know the bit down the side of the stage? Did you go in that bit?
No.
They had these, like, the big water tanks, and I'm not joking, they stored, I don't know why, but there was like a gorilla costume in there. So every time you opened this door, there was just like this gorilla. And it's haunted anyway, so...
That place, when we walked up there, I used to get scared. They would be like, go and get Ollie Octopus or Daffodil the Cow from...
Why couldn't they have just kept the Thought Park Rangers?
Yeah, literally.
They were awesome.
Well, when I went I told you this.
Mr. Draft.
I told you, I went scuba diving in Wales, which is a good, like, I don't know, 100 miles, more than 100 miles.
More than that.
Chepstow. I went scuba diving in Chepstow, and I literally saw Mr. Elephant. Like, 18 metres down, I was leading this group of, like, 2 guys, navigate a bus, like, look around. I had to sketch it out on, like, my pad thing. And then come back.
Mr. Elephant was in the bottom of the lake.
He was there. That looks really familiar. That's from Thorpe Park. That's Mr. Elephant.
Did he have his, like, park ranger?
He had the hat on and everything with the thing. At least he's been given a home underwater, 18 metres down, with cop.
That's even worse, because I was the last person that did Tropical Travels, and they had all the rangers round them, and these kids pushed Mr. Draft into the trough. So I had this draft basically being waterboarded with like 18 other boats rammed up its bum. And I'm sat at the control room like, where's all my boats gone? Because I've only got 2 cameras, which are like here, and they pushed it in here.
Mr. Draft really
He was like face deep. Like his legs are sticking up in the air. And I just see these 2 kids just run off. And I'm like, where did they come from? Oh, well.
You're like...
Yes, get in the boat. Next person, send. Yeah. Where's the rest of my boats gone? Oh, God. Friggin' nightmare. So he gets drowned and Mr... He's got like concrete
Mr.
slippers at the
Elephant,
bottom of a lake.
It's like the mafia taking out the Thorpe Park Rangers. It's so funny. I literally, honestly, I
bet it's ex-staff members. It was like, ugh, I'm in Ranger County
I
again.
think they bought it. And I obviously can't go like, excuse me, this, because I'm 18 metres deep, like with the thing in, and I'm like, just like looking at this thing thinking like, I know what that is.
That would scare the life out of me. Like, just like, because it's murky.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Like, no, so if you scuba dive in Chepstow, everything's quite blue. Yeah. The distance isn't very good. Like, I could probably see from me to the Christmas tree over there. Yeah, to Linda. No, literally, you go in Raisbury, it's me to Linda. No, and it is that colour.
To Linda.
To Linda. Literally, Raisbury is that colour when you go in the lake. And I couldn't see my hand in front of me.
I dove in Corfu and you can see quite far, but even like at a certain point it becomes murky. And as soon as I see like something in that murk and I'm swimming towards it, it freaks me out.
Yeah, that's what the worst thing when you go diving in Raisbury, you'd be kicking like this and then literally it'd be like bus. And
Thorpe Park Ranger.
Yeah, Thorpe Park Ranger. I was really
and
weird.
They're just like...
Yeah. This elephant was like... With his trunk.
Yeah, that's really strange that, you worked there and then you have to go to Wales.
And then it's there. I was like, that's really strange.
I want to know if it was the one from Tropical Travels or Fungal Safari. Because if it's Tropical Travels, I was the last person
to ride that.
That's weird. Think about it.
I think there's so much, isn't there? Like, that's the thing.
Tons. Like, if this podcast is like 8 hours long, we could barely cover it. I mean, I was there for 3 years. You were there for 3 different years.
Yeah.
And like,
there's so much to do.
It was so funny.
Yeah,
like the ghosts, like the... Oh, God. Like, the scariest one with the ghost for me was I had the phone call in control. And they had shut down X because they'd seen somebody in the cameras. The cameras were in the ride area. And they'd seen somebody walk past the camera.
Oh, my God.
And so they had to shut down the ride. Obviously, there's somebody in the ride area. This isn't safe. We have to shut down the ride. So they emergency stopped the ride. Obviously called it through. I've had to call it out to all the park managers and all the rides and all the... engineering department because they have to come over and like restart.
X No Way Out, by the way, is like a triangle.
It's a pyramid.
It's a pyramid.
It's a ziggurat.
It's absolutely dark in there. It's pitch black.
And there's a pentagram out the front.
Well, next question. So it is horrible.
Somebody rang me up. Shout out to my friend. You'll know who you are. She rang me up. Had to shut it down. Someone in the ride area. So, like, everyone went over. There's nobody there. They searched the whole ride area. There's nobody there. The only way out of the ride area is either via the exit platform, which has a member of staff stood there at all times. So they would have seen them.
Yeah.
Or one of the fire exits, which are all alarmed.
Yeah.
So there's no way
one in there. Yeah. Oh
that
my
anybody
God,
could have got out.
It's like
without
Five Nights
knowing.
at Freddy's as well, the security cameras. Like, literally, like Five Nights at Freddy's quality.
The creepiest thing is there was so many people that said that there was certain points where it used to stop around the ride because it went backwards, and there was certain points, they were called animations, but there were certain points where it stopped, and the amount of people that used to say, who's ever like trying to scare people at these points, like the member of staff that's trying to scare people at these points, you know, they're out of order, they shouldn't be doing that or whatever. We were like, I understand. There's nobody there.
Who's doing this?
So they actually put mannequins at these points, just so it's like, oh yeah, they're mannequins, because so many people were convinced that somebody was like standing there staring at them.
Yeah, it's like sleep paralysis, isn't it?
It was awful, the amount.
And then there was the time that you had to walk across the park in pitch black. I remember you telling me, and I was like, I was the only. Wasn't there a fire alarm on one of the rides?
So in the control room, you have like four phones, which are 3 of them are internal only, and then you have one that does do out external lines. But then you have like the emergency line, which is the equivalent of 999.
Yeah,
and it's literally got a bulb on top.
Yeah, it's like we're flashing.
Like Inspector Gadget's. Right now,
sirens.
You have to answer that, but that's an internal only line, so you can only call that inside the park.
Yeah,
I'm waiting for night security to take over in the control room. So I've literally signed everybody out of the park. So I know I'm literally the only person in the park.
Yeah.
And the internal line rings. Bear in mind, there was nothing to do. So I was actually watching What Lies Beneath on the computer.
By the way, there's a new movie, not called What Lies Beneath, but What Lies Below.
I'm not watching it.
I watched it. It's the sorry. It's the worst movie.
Tangent.
It's the worst movie. I watched it. It has a handsome man in it.
So it's worth watching.
Amanda, someone from Amanda Labor.
Why are you asking?
She's from American Pie.
Okay.
And this girl in it. It's the most uncomfortable movie I've ever watched. First of all, second of all, it's not a great movie. It has a bad ending.
That's it.
Yeah,
as bad as Supernatural.
But I literally go, what lies beneath? What lies below? I kept calling it What Lies Beneath because it's literally. And
is it like a continuation of that?
I don't know. It's about something in water.
Yeah, I think What Lies Beneath was in water.
Okay, well, this one's dreadful because it's about like parasites. Anyway,
sequels always are.
Anyway, so you had to walk across the park, didn't you? Because
knowing I was the only one in, and the phone line goes. So I'm already pooing myself because
you've
scared
yourself already.
And this phone shouldn't be ringing because there's no one here.
Yeah.
You know, this is like, you know the start of Scream where she's the only one in the house. And
yeah. She's like, what am I doing?
Yeah. So I'm like, this shouldn't be ringing. So I've had to answer it. And it's just this automated, like, this, am I allowed to say the rides?
Yeah.
And they're like, this is Nemesis Inferno. There is a fire. And I'm like, okay. Now it's been going off throughout the day. Like there's like some like minor fault in the fire alarm system, which basically it just warns you for no reason. So the way you turn it off is you go to the fire alarm panel and you
click
turn it off, which is in Nemesis.
That's the other side of the park.
That's the other side
like
of the park.
Corner.
I'm in. Yeah, you can't get much further
away.
Really, you can go different directions. Yeah. But you can't really get much further.
It's like the west wing of the furthest west port of the ride.
This is the best bit. This is just as like the park hasn't even opened yet. This is like getting ready to open the season, all the checks being done, which is probably why it's going on.
Yeah.
So all the music and the ambience music is still from Fright Nights the year before.
Oh my gosh.
So I'm going across the park on my own, pitch black, with like witches cackling and chains rattling and screams going off and the theme song from The Exorcist. And I'm like, shoot me, just shoot me.
Saw going off as well.
I was smart enough to transfer the calls to the mobile, so if anybody called the thing, they would call to me. And I bought a radio. Like, who am I going to radio? I'm the one in charge of the radio.
Ed1 over.
Yeah.
This is control room. There's a problem.
Control room help. And it'd be like, control room receiving. Sending help. Go and help Jodie. Yeah, okay. It was mortifying. And what made it worse is I got in the next morning after dealing with that on my own. I got in the next morning, because obviously I had to hand over to night security and explain the situation. I got in the next morning to take back over from them. And I was like, oh, was there any problem with the fire alarm? They were like, yeah, we just let the fire engines turn up. So I was like, great. So two fully grown men who could have gone together with, like, armed, and they don't
go. You just went on your own. I wouldn't have done it. I'm sorry. That's where I'd have drawn the line.
I wish I hadn't.
I'd have been like, I'm out.
And I got a bug in my eye.
To top it off, I got a bug in my eye.
Literally.
The cast of Bug's Life hanging
just
out.
Moved into my eyeballs.
Just decided to live it up on Rumper Rapids.
It was easily one of the worst experience. Like, that level of dread.
Yeah, to know that you have to do something that you, like... That's the dread where like, at Body Shop, when I used to work there, it was like, you need to go and speak to that customer, and I knew they were in a bad mood.
I was fine with that.
No, see, I can't deal with it. Like, or it's like, you need to ring so-and-so and tell them bad news.
Oh, that I can't deal with.
That dread is what I would feel. Like, literally, it's like, you need to ring Janet and tell her that she's fired. And you know that she's got kids and it's Christmas.
Yeah, no, I couldn't
pull
do
my
that.
pants.
Yeah, no, I couldn't do that.
No,
but like, just speaking to customers that are in a bad mood, I literally I'll try and like make their days better. I'll try and improve. And that's one of the good things about Thorpe is, it was always try and turn their frown upside down. And I tried to take that onto every job I've had since. Yeah. Because I think it's a really good policy. Yeah.
You kind of like, you become the empath.
Like when I was at the cinema and the woman was complaining that the screen was too close to the actors' faces, so it cut off their hat. I was like, yeah, it's because it's widescreen. No self-respecting cameraman would have filmed it like that. I know, because my son works there, and it's like,
really?
Okay, you need to throw away your box telly.
Yeah.
Because everything's widescreen.
And you need to learn. You need to go to film school and understand that some things are stylistic.
It's like, she's literally complaining because it's in widescreen.
Stupid people. Sorry. Well, we've discussed quite a few things, haven't we? We've discussed bomb threats.
Bomb threats. We didn't get around to the ankle coming off.
Ears coming off. Ankles coming off. Stupid customers that think that they're lawyers.
Oh yeah.
And hauntings and hauntings. There's so many more stories, and probably we could bring out. But
I didn't even tell you about the woman that was in Pirates. She moved.
Oh, what?
Like, Fred was only an ex, right? But the woman would. She was friendly, apparently.
Yeah, Fred wasn't. And
no,
Mary
Fred wanted.
Wasn't it Mary?
I don't know. It may have been, but Fred apparently died when it was a quarry. Apparently, he was either pushed or he jumped. Yeah, when it was a quarry.
Well, he probably. If he was pushed, then he's probably not very happy about that. I wouldn't be.
Well, I think if he jumped as well, he's probably not very happy. Either way,
Anyway. We've talked about a lot of stuff. So this was the first episode of Tangents and Waffles, which we sufficiently did. It's been great, and my life's cold. I'm actually quite cold. I keep rubbing my body. I didn't realise how much I actually rub my body. I'm like this in the video.
Pervert.
It's like, I'm really cold, but my sweat patches are huge. It always happens to me.
Apparently that's a sign that you're healthy.
Yeah, tell that to the McDonald's breakfast I had.
Breakfast.
Yeah.
Can I just say before you sign off that, are we going to have that there like constantly?
No, it's just because it was really echoey. I hear.
I know, but having a mattress up against the wall, it just looks like a squat. And we've got like pretty set.
You've got Medusa. No, not Talisa. Talinda and a squat. And we tried to make it look okay, but anyway, this was the first episode of Tangent and Poffles. Great.
There's the title.
Tangents and Poffles. If you would like us to do another episode,
don't put me in the thumbnail, otherwise I won't do one.
We'll make a thumbnail with just me on it. And I hope that you enjoyed it. We're going to hopefully do more of this in the new year if you like it. And we will see you next time.
I can't look at the camera. I'm just...
How do we sign off? How do we sign off? I don't know, milk.
There you go.
We'll
I think that should just be our catchphrase, because I've started doing that now.
I don't know, milk. Anyway, hope you have a lovely Christmas, and we will see you. I've got one more video this year, haven't I? Yeah.
You have.
And we'll see you in the new year.
2021.
When things get worse. I don't know, milk.
Don't jinx it. Don't jinx it, because this is why. When all the celebrities started dying in whatever year it was that all the celebrities kept dying in threes, they were like, well, at least it will be better next year.
Yeah. Well,
COVID.
it won't be. Yeah.
So...
Anyway, we'll see you later. Goodbye.